Time skipped. For Jungkook, it was now getting hard to even keep his eyes open. He could rest carefree, but his heart was somewhere concerned for 𝐻𝑛. Somewhere he didn't want to leave her alone in woods in dark night. He looked at her tired face looking damn beautiful in moonlight. He smiled unknowingly, but soon it disappeared when a question hit in his brain. Why you're worried to leave her alone? Why you care if she die or live? He denied his feelings to take over him, mumbled, I don't care, and let his eyes rest. Time skipped. After couple of hours, 𝐻𝑛 felt grip around her waist and weight on her shoulder. She opened her eyes to see Jungkook sleeping peacefully, resting his head on her shoulder while his hands were around her waist, leaving no space between them. She looked keenly, felt some weird happy feeling in her heart. She smiled unknowingly looking at him. She felt tickles in stomach as it was the first time Jungkook's this close to her without the intention to hurt. She was enjoying her emotions, but Jungkook's shivering body caught her attention. She touched his manly arm that was around her waist and felt warm. She thought to cover his body and tried to move his hand from her waist, but he tightened the grip, giving her no space to move. Do he eat iron or food? Maybe food contains iron. Haha, bad joke. Till now what he gave to you. Punishment. Bruises. Why you're helping him? Why do you care if he die or stay alive? You could easily run away when he asked you to. Then why? Because you have a pure heart unlike him, stone-hearted. Yeah, that's the only reason you didn't leave him alone with those men there. After leaving this endless forest, everything will be like before. Same hatred, same warnings, same room. Now felt pain what I used to feel. I mean, yours was extreme, but still, you deserve it anyway. I can leave you right here, you know. You'll be dead meat to animals, but I can't. Not because I have feelings for you. I hate you, Mr. Jun. I just don't know the way to city. She kept looking to the stars in the sky for a few minutes and felt like her body is being squeezed. What you want from me? Shivering like you are freezing but are not allowing me to even move to get clothes. She said, and her gaze fell on his stomach. The white shirt was now fully drenched in his dark red blood. Her face expression turned into worried one. She managed to put her hand under Jungkook's head to make him comfortable and placed her another hand on his stomach to support the wounded area. She slided herself down a little and was rubbing Jungkook's sidearm to make him warm, but felt it warmly wet. She moved her face forward to look onto her hand and saw blood. She remembered gunshot when they were hiding behind the tree, and it raised her concern towards him. Jungkook? But he didn't answer. According to her, he was sleeping. But the reality was that he was no longer conscious. His eyes gave up. His body could not make energy for long due to blood loss, and he blacked out. She waited for his reply for a second, but when she saw no response, she thought not to disturb his sleep. Her both hands were on his injured areas, preventing his body to lose blood, while her body was giving him comfort with warmth. She stayed awake till hours with the fear, but then her tiredness took over her eyes and she dozed off unknowingly. It was 8 in the morning when Yeon felt sunlight kissing her face. She wiggled her brows before opening her eyes. She was yawning, but her wide-open mouth closed when she saw around her. Thousands of wild tall trees were standing around them. She frowned to see the view, and the next thing that knocked her head was Jungkook. She looked and saw he's still in the same position as she saw him last night before sleeping. She didn't want to wake the angry lion up, but looking to the endless trees she had no choice. She first shook him a little, making sure not to hurt his wound, but he didn't show any movement. She called his name but still got no response. A little did she know he was in unconscious state, but she didn't want to accept it as her fear was now growing up inside to see the forest all around. Her heart started beating fast. She tried every way to wake Jungkook up, but nothing worked. She checked his heartbeats and got a relief from worry a little, but still, for her, the situation was scary. She felt helpless with his unconscious body and cried her heart out. Jungkook, hey, wake up, it's morning. But Jungkook didn't show any movement. After flowing her emotions out through tears, she thought not to give up. She wiped her tears, gathered her all strength and stood up. She held Jungkook's wrist and pulled him upwards while her another hand supported his waist to stand up. She managed to make him get up but couldn't control his weight, and he landed on her, making her take a few steps backwards to balance herself. She took a deep breath before stepping in any direction she felt safe, but it was hard to walk with him. She groaned and stopped for a moment to think for some easier way. She thought for a couple of minutes and looked around to some wood planks or something that she can get help with Jungkook's body. Her eyes roamed around the forest and saw a thick wooden piece. She went backwards to it and laid 𝐬𝐩𝐞 down on wooden piece. She placed his arms and legs on it in an comfortable position and inhaled deeply while looking down at him. She smiled after looking to her efforts, and now next task was how to drag that wooden piece. She tried by hands, but it was heavier more than she could imagine. Ugh, what should I do now? She said heavily, and luckily her gaze fell on a rope barely visible in between grass. She bent and picked it up, but later her scream was ear bleeding. I can't, please, help, someone's here. She flinched when she heard lions roaring. She looked around with fear and immediately stood up. She hurried to leave the forest no matter how. She take off her hoodie which she was wearing over shirt, tied it up with the wooden plank and dragged it with all her strength. It's been 1 hour she's finding the way while crying, and at last she got a light in the dark when she saw a way where she could see Car's print. She smiled happily with tears in her eyes and got more strength to see the hope. Her hands went numb due to dragging 𝐬𝐩𝐞 with her since hour, so she tied hoodie with her waist belt and continued walking. She was tired and exhausted but didn't take a break for even a minute after hearing lions roar and hurried to the way. After following the car's print for 1 more hour, she reached the road to city. Unknowingly a wide smile formed on her face that was hiding all the pain and efforts. She take the hoodie off her waist and moved forward on road to seek someone's help. The road wasn't that busy, just few vehicles could be seen there, but nobody stopped to help them. At last she sat beside 𝐬𝐩𝐞 as she was hella tired and rest her head on her knees. After a few minutes she heard car's parking sound which made her attentive. She saw a car stopped in front of her. She stood up and went near. Her heart felt intense happiness to see who's the owner. She smiled to him with teary eyes. He saw her condition and opened the window for her.
Come on, I have many questions to ask. Get in fast, I'm curious for many things to know.
Yeah, I too have to talk about many things, but right now 𝐬𝐩𝐞 is in really serious situation. He's injured since yesterday night and losing blood. We should immediately go to hospital. You're a doctor, right?
Whoa girl, calm down. What you're talking about, 𝐬𝐩𝐞, who, and?
I'll tell you later everything. It's not time to answer anything. Come out and help me, he's unconscious, she said, looking to her expression. Jimin showed quick response. He lifted up 𝐬𝐩𝐞 and laid him gently on the back seat. 𝐬𝐻 secured him with seat belts and sat on passenger seat. Jimin got in the car and started driving to the hospital.
Where were you since couple of months? I tried to contact but you were like disappeared all of sudden. And who's 𝐬𝐩𝐞? How did you get in here? How's he injured? It's B.
Yeah, calm down. Actually, my dad fixed my marriage with him. Are
you even serious? He's mafia who killed countless people. How could your dad do?
No, he did it because 𝐬𝐞𝐧's dad is his childhood friend. He made my dad believe that I'll be happy with them. But still I denied and my dad agreed to. He was about to talk about cancelling the marriage, but he forced me, that if I didn't agree he'll ruin my happiness, and I didn't want my dad to suffer because of me. So it happened all of a sudden, and after coming to his house, he snatched my phone too. I wanted to tell you, but firstly I thought not to make you worry, but when I thought it's necessary, I didn't have my phone. I'm sorry. You don't know how happy I'm feeling to see you now. Jimin smiled, and they continued talking till they reached hospital. Jimin asked about her life. She lied, it's going good. He asked about her current situation and 𝐬𝐸𝐞's condition. She told him about rival attack and all. He was asking countless questions that 𝐬𝐻 didn't want to tell. So to avoid his question she started talking about their college days. They had happy time while ride, and after half an hour they reached hospital. Without wasting any time, she got out and opened the window. Jimin took 𝐬𝐸𝐞 out and laid him on stretcher. They both rushed to emergency operating room. Jimin asked her to wait outside. She nodded, sat outside with worry and tackling her feeling for him. She got a chance to use phone. Her face lit up to think to talk with her dad. She went to reception and asked for phone. After pouring out her emotions in talks, she hung the call and felt relaxed. A smile formed on her lips automatically. She was going towards operating room, but suddenly something popped out in her brain. She took baby steps and again asked for phone to call someone. Time skipped after an hour. She was waiting outside room. She stood up to see the door is opening, revealing Jimin and some nurses coming out. Is he okay? I already took the bullet yesterday night. Can I go inside now?
He lost too much blood. We arranged donor so he's stable but still weak. You did a great job to took bullet out. Well, we stitched it up and he got stitches on shoulder and forehead too. We treated little wounds and you can meet him after we shift him to normal ward. There's nothing to worry.
Thanks. So, when you're shifting him to another ward?
After blood transfusion, you can wait in my cabin till then, I have some patients to check, it'll take a while.
No. It's okay, I'll wait here, you can continue your work. Jimin offered him his canteen card and his phone if in case she needs until he come. She took him happily. He went. Her gaze followed him until his figure disappeared. She sat on the chair, started scrolling phone like a baby who's curious to see what's in. 40 minutes passed. She was enjoying their old videos of college. Jimin came and shifted Jungkook to another ward. He permitted her to go in. She thanked him with a hug before she went in. Jimin chuckled and left for his pending work. She entered the room, saw Jungkook laying with his eyes closed. IV connected to his middle forearm, strings connected to machine and attached to his body. His hair bangs covering his bandaged forehead, bruises on his face were still visible. She closed the door slowly and went near him. She felt happy inside to see him out of danger. Loose-fitting white clothes on his injured body gave her a weird feeling, but she controlled herself. Looking at him from head to toe, she saw his hand was off the bed. She stepped towards bed and gently placed it beside him, making sure not to touch his injured shoulder. She sighed and sat on couch after looking at machine.